Olivia gracefully poured herself a glass of water, and as she raised it to her lips for a sip, her gaze inadvertently turned towards the window. She caught sight of a sapphire blue sports car cruising by. She poured another glass of water and requested the kitchen maid to prepare a plate of fresh fruit. Once the maid had prepared the fruit plate, a woman dressed in a long red maxi dress strode into the room with confidence, her heels clicking against the floor. "Good morning, Vera," Olivia greeted with a warm smile. "Morning." Vera approached Olivia, her steps purposeful. "How did you sleep last night?" "Pretty well." Olivia handed the glass to Vera. After sipping from her own glass of water, she picked up the fruit plate and suggested, "Let's retreat to my room for a chat." "All right." Vera smiled and nodded. The two of them strolled away, wearing smiles as they left Monica behind. She had intended to interrupt their conversation and seethed with anger, her teeth grinding when she missed her chance. How dare Olivia show off her excellent tutor like that? At that moment, Bruno finally appeared downstairs before Monica. The anger in her heart dispersed instantly, and she promptly rose to her feet. With a pleasant smile, she greeted, "Uncle Bruno, good morning." "Morning," Bruno yawned. "I finally had good sleep. Have you been waiting here for long?" "Yes." Monica feigned a sense of injustice. "Because you said you would teach me how to cook. I've been waiting here for quite a while today." "Well, didn't I tell you it'd be 10 o'clock? Bruno looked at Monica. "I was excited." Monica pursed her lips and inquired, "Uncle Bruno, what are you planning to teach me today?" "Today?" Bruno was still a little groggy. "Would you like to taste my cooking first?" Monica harbored some confidence in her culinary skills. While she may not have reached the level of a professional chef, she had grown up in a family associated with food and beverages, influenced by it from a young age. "No need," Bruno swiftly declined. Since a young age, his taste buds had been exceptionally discerning. What other people considered delicious often disappointed him. "What do you have in store for me today, Uncle?" Monica inquired. "I shall have you experience it." Bruno pondered for a moment before answering. "Okay," Monica responded excitedly. "Yes." Bruno entered the kitchen, and Monica immediately followed suit. Once inside, Bruno handed Monica a list of ingredients and instructed, "Retrieve these spices from the spice rack and weigh them carefully." "All right, Uncle." Monica jogged over and began arranging the spices on the kitchen table. After completing the measurements, she stood by the side and said, "Uncle, I have finished measuring them." "Good." Bruno roused from his daze. He glanced at the 3 spices Monica had measured and remarked, "There's an extra 0.2 grams of cumin. Adjusted." "Oh, okay." Monica nodded and reweighed the cumin. "Good," Bruno acknowledged. "Today you'll practice this. Even without weighing, strive to keep the margin of error within 0.07 grams. This is it?" Monica was taken aback. "That's the whole lesson?" "Yes." Bruno patted Monica on the shoulder. He could see her frown. "Adversity is the path to superiority. If you find it tedious now, you may quit if you fear hardship or fatigue." "No," Monica immediately refused, looking up at Bruno with unwavering determination. "I won't quit." She must become a disciple of his. Then she would seem better than Olivia in her father's eyes. "Then go ahead," Bruno encouraged. "You'll practice this today." "Okay," Monica nodded, her focus unwavering. She continued to measure the spices with utmost seriousness. Observing this, Bruno left the kitchen and ascended to his room upstairs. Today, he had entrusted Monica with the practice, as he had his own matters to attend to. At noon, after Vera finished her supplementary lesson with Olivia, she announced, "I must depart now." "Would you like to have lunch first?" Olivia invited her to stay. "I can't, I'm quite busy. I need to catch a flight to Rome this afternoon. I won't be able to visit next week. Just follow the instructions I've left for you and study on your own." Vera declined. "Okay," Olivia nodded. "Take care." "I will." Vera placed her hand on Olivia's shoulder. "You study while I'm gone. I'll return to check on your progress." "I will." Olivia smiled and replied, "I'll see you off." All right. Vera picked up her handbag, walking towards the exit. After bidding farewell to Vera, Olivia returned to her room to tidy up. She meticulously folded the fresh laundry a maid had left in her bathroom and placed a few outfits in her school bag. Exiting her room, Olivia unexpectedly bumped into Edward, and they locked eyes. Edward averted his gaze, deliberately ignoring Olivia as he proceeded down the hall. Undeterred by Edward's cold shoulder, Olivia continued forward. Out front, on the wraparound porch, Bruno basked in the warm sunlight. Though Olivia purposely disregarded Edward, she couldn't ignore Bruno's presence. "Good afternoon, Uncle Bruno," Olivia greeted. "Good afternoon." Bruno smiled and inquired, "Where are we headed?" "I'm going to visit my mother," Olivia replied. "Oh, you're going to Victoria's place?" Bruno expressed interest. "Why don't I accompany you? It's been a while since I last saw Vicky." "Thank you for your kind offer, Uncle, but I'm good," Olivia declined with a smile. "Is that so?" Bruno appeared disappointed. "Very well, then. Today's weather is exceptionally pleasant for winter, isn't it?" he added, raising his head and squinting at the sky. "Yes," Olivia agreed. At that moment, Morris Bratt drove his car down the driveway and stopped steadily in front of Olivia. Olivia opened the door and settled into the car. "What splendid weather indeed," Bruno sighed as he watched the car slowly drive away from the Johnson mansion. "But," Bruno gazed up at the sky, falling silent for a few seconds. "I wonder when it will change, and what will happen then." Olivia would never be able to live a peaceful life as long as she got close to Chris Jones, Bruno thought, especially since she had the bloodline of Victoria's family. Many people did not want her to live a good life. Bruno thought of Rachel now, and of how she had asked him to come do away with Olivia. "Why do you need me to do it?" Bruno stretched his body and murmured, "You don't need to use a butcher's knife to kill tiny little mice." Olivia requested her driver to park the car at the store adjacent to her mom's place, and she purchased some ribs. Then she bought a whole chicken and a selection of fruits. It was at that moment a young woman in her early 20s approached Olivia. The woman sported a light gray sweater layered under a short army green velvet skirt. Her lower body was adorned with jeans, and her short, dry hair grazed her ears. With a slim build and a healthy complexion, she exuded a vibrant aura. Accentuated by a pair of bright green leather boots, the young woman stood out, and Olivia couldn't help but steal a few extra glances at her. As the woman passed by, her wallet fell to the ground near Olivia's feet. Reacting swiftly, Olivia halted and squatted down to retrieve the wallet. She called out, "Hey, excuse me, your wallet." "What?" "No, that's your wallet," the woman replied, looking down and turning around with a radiant smile. "Huh?" Olivia was taken aback. Something about that woman's demeanor seemed peculiar. Piffed. A man wearing sunglasses, who had been reading a magazine nearby, burst into laughter, his chuckles interspersed with coughs. Realizing his impoliteness, he discreetly walked a few steps away while still shaking with laughter. "Ugh," the woman blinked, assessing Olivia's expression. It appeared her intentions hadn't produced the desired effect. She pursed her lips and approached Olivia, reaching out for the wallet in her hand. "Oh, wait, never mind, you're right, it's my wallet. Thank you." "Oh," Olivia nodded. "Okay, well then, glad you got it back." "Wait a moment." The woman swiftly extended her hand, gesturing for Olivia to halt. "Huh?" Olivia inquired, perplexed by the woman's actions. The woman greeted Olivia with a smile. "Thank you for helping me retrieve my wallet. My name is Devon." "Okay." Olivia looked at Devon, sensing something odd about her. She felt as though there might be something off with her mental state. "Anyway, thanks again. I suppose we'll meet again soon." Devon waved her hand. Olivia said nothing, honestly not harboring much desire to encounter Devon again. "Goodbye," Devon called out, waving at Olivia. Olivia felt a sense of unease and hastened her pace as she distanced herself from the strange woman. Once Olivia had exited the store, Devon and the sunglasses-wearing man who had laughed at her moments earlier, he still wore a smile. With hands on her hips, she expressed her displeasure. "Albert, have you not had your fill of laughter or not?" Aware of Devon's temperament, Albert dared not laugh any further. "Miss Devon, was that the first step of the cunning plan you mentioned?" Initially, he doubted Devon's reliability when she mentioned she had a plan she wanted to put into action. But witnessing the strange interaction between Devon and Olivia caused him to erupt into uncontrollable laughter, resulting in aching abdominal muscles. "Yes," Devon affirmed, nodding her head. Her original plan had been to establish a connection with Olivia. She intended to leave a positive impression and gradually get Olivia to see her dim-witted brother's virtues. Eventually, Olivia would catch a glimpse of all of Jeremy's exceptional qualities. It would become effortless from there. "So, miss, what's the next step?" Albert inquired. "My priority is to leave a favorable initial impression." Devon initially aimed for a more relaxed and jovial opening remark to leave a lasting impression on Olivia. "You may have missed the mark," Albert said. "She may have perceived you as an eccentric or just a crazy person." He was certain of it. "But that can't be." Devon was taken aback. She was aware that her first step hadn't been highly successful, but she hadn't expected it to fail so miserably. A crazy person it couldn't be. "Come on," Albert nodded. "Let's go home." He didn't want Devon to cause any more trouble for young Jeremy, who was already burdened with enough tasks as it was. "Oh," Devon pinched her chin, adopting a contemplative expression. "If this plan doesn't work, I'll come up with something else. Ideas are always brewing in here." She pointed to her temple. "Miss," Albert spoke with difficulty, "ideas can indeed manifest in people's minds, but some ideas are ingenious while others, well, they're rather dubious." Unfortunately, his boss fell into the latter category. Devon glared at Albert. "Let's return home." "Yes, let's," Albert rejoiced. Devon finally seemed to comprehend what he was saying and decided against causing any further trouble. "I'll go back and mull over a brilliant idea," Devon proclaimed. Albert stood there dumbfounded, his smile fading instantaneously. He regretted more than ever that he had made contact with San Francisco previously. Meanwhile, upon arriving at her mother's home, Olivia handed the meat and fruits she had purchased at the store to Wendy, who opened the door. "Wendy, I encountered the most peculiar person today." After recounting the entire encounter with Devon, Olivia noticed a smile on Wendy's face. "Ha ha, indeed a strange person. And it turns out to be her wallet after all? The girl was pretty and looked put together." Olivia gestured toward her temple. "But it seems like something is off." Wendy chuckled, shaking her head. "That's a shame." At that moment, Desiree entered the apartment. "What are you all so happily discussing? Why the big smiles?" "Nothing. Where did you go, godmother?" Olivia asked with a smile. "Oh, I just finished my early shift. I'm off now," Desiree replied, curious. "You two, haven't you eaten yet?" "Not yet. I'm not very hungry either." Olivia shook her head. She had consumed plenty of fruit during her afternoon study session. "Well, once you are, I'll cook for you," Desiree offered. "I'll be your assistant." Olivia smiled as she got up. "That works too," Desiree nodded. "I'll wash my hands then," Olivia said, rising from the sofa and heading toward the bathroom. "What about me?" Wendy, not adept at cooking, wondered what she could do. "Wash the fruits," Olivia joked. "And mop the floor," Desiree teased. Olivia and Desiree replied simultaneously, sharing a knowing smile. They were well aware of Wendy's capabilities. Wendy pursed her lips. "Fine, you all are ganging up on me." "Are you going to cook then?" Olivia raised an eyebrow, inquiring. "Forget it, I'll wash the fruits and mop the floor." Faced with tasks that didn't align with her natural talents, Wendy had to admit defeat, though she laughed because she knew she was a terrible cook. Olivia and Desiree laughed. Wendy was truly one of a kind. Once they entered the kitchen, Olivia retrieved the chicken and ribs she had purchased earlier. "Desiree, what's our plan for today?" "Let me see." Desiree examined the chicken and ribs on the chopping board, then checked the fridge. "Today, let's make braised pork ribs. I'll prepare the ingredients first, while you start cooking the rice. That'll be our side dish, okay? All right. Olivia rolled up her sleeves and began preparing the rice. While working, she observed Desiree's actions. After washing the chicken parts, Desiree dried them and placed them in a stewing pot. We'll do a yummy chicken stew, too. Desiree cut a portion of chicken and added it to the stew. Desiree smiled and poured 4 bowls of chicken broth into the pot, adding ginger slices and garlic. Yum! Listen, Desiree said, your mother won't be home until she finishes her overtime tonight, so I wanted to ask you something before she does. Just between you and I. Do you know what your father's intentions are? You saw my father? Olivia was surprised. Was he at the hospital? She had heard that Michael hadn't visited anymore. When did this happen? Come, let's remember this. Desiree placed the last of the chicken into the pot. Remember to let it simmer. No oil? Olivia asked. Not needed. The fat in the meat will render during the scalding process, Desiree explained. Oh. While Olivia didn't fully understand, she nodded and took note. Okay, Olivia nodded. How long will the stew take? Simmer over high heat for 30 minutes, then reduce to medium heat for another 30 minutes, Desiree replied. Most stews require high heat followed by a simmer. Each dish has its timing. I'll teach you gradually. Okay, godmother. Olivia expressed gratitude with a smile. Now, stir-fry the vegetables, that's your task. Desiree observed the ingredients. Crush the garlic, cut it in half, and finally chop the rest. Okay. Olivia complied and began following the instructions. Desiree watched Olivia chopping vegetables and shook her head. Liv, your knife skills need improvement. You still need practice. I know, Olivia acknowledged, aware that as a novice, she couldn't compare to Desiree. She humbly accepted the guidance. After all, she had developed a keen interest in cooking, hadn't she? Maybe it ran in her blood. Observing Olivia's vegetable chopping, Desiree asked, Do you aspire to pursue this as a career? You mean cooking? Olivia seriously asked. Becoming a chef? Yeah, Desiree nodded. In truth, she had her hidden agenda. Desiree had once wanted to become a renowned chef of her generation, and she tinkered with recipes her whole life, hoping to one day release a cookbook featuring them. She hoped Olivia could fulfill her unfulfilled dream, and together they could release a cookbook one day. With Olivia's contacts and success, Desiree could maybe reach one of her goals by proxy. It's not very likely, Olivia smiled, scrunching her nose. I'm interested in cooking, but I don't intend to pursue it as a profession. Desiree nodded, a little crestfallen. I suppose it's only natural for young people these days to explore new industries. Not many girls would willingly spend their days dealing with hot oil and salt, I suppose. I finished cutting. Olivia observed her creation and felt a tinge of disappointment. It was nothing special. Let's soak and put veggies in the water, Desiree suggested. Olivia was taken aback. Put them in the water? Yeah, just add them to the soup. It'll be easier than doing a bunch of different dishes. I'm realizing, plus, while it all cooks down, we can have a chat as well, Desiree explained with a smile. All right, Olivia nodded, following Desiree's instructions. So what were you saying about my dad? Nothing, just that I didn't know if he and your mother were on good terms still. Desiree quickly changed the subject. But listen, I'm also concerned with someone who used to work with your mom. He visited her in the hospital while she had surgery, Nate Evans, her old superior from work. I think he likes your mom, and he's 29. No way. Olivia widened her eyes. Nate is only 29 years old. He was much younger than her mother. Her mother had some charm. Could it be that she had caught the eye of a young man? I've heard her mention him, but I didn't know he was into her. Or that he's so young. Yes, he's handsome and cheerful. You can tell at a glance that he's a real reliable person, Desiree remarked, but he is a bit younger and different from your mother. I think your father is better. Godmother, you haven't told me where you saw my father, Olivia asked curiously. When I accompanied your mom the other day, we were out walking. Suddenly, he appeared and drove your mother away. Desiree recalled and said, "Your father's quite handsome, too. He doesn't seem like the type to cheat or make mistakes on his wife either. Speaking of which, Liv, do you know why your parents divorced?" "No, I don't." Olivia shook her head. She truly did not know of it. Neither Victoria nor Michael had mentioned it, and it seemed they had no intention of sharing. She tried reading their thoughts on the subject, but it always seemed like they wouldn't even privately let themselves remember it. It was as if they pushed the subject away altogether. But why? Olivia furrowed her brow. There were too many mysteries from 17 years ago. She wanted to uncover the truth, but there seemed to be no way to do so. Suddenly, a smiling face appeared in her mind. Olivia was stunned and murmured, "Bruno. He might have information about what happened 17 years ago. It would be great if she could get something out of him." But was it even possible? Olivia wasn't sure. After all, Bruno was brought here by Rachel. His motives were likely linked to hurting Olivia. In that case, would he have any incentive to help her? "Liv, what did you say?" Desiree didn't catch Olivia's muttering and asked, "Nothing, I was also wondering why my parents divorced." Olivia quickly changed the topic and said, "I haven't asked you about your family, though. What does your grandfather do?" In Manhattan's elite social circles, knowing how people's parents and grandparents made their fortunes were standard, especially since many of the kids in Olivia's school came from old, established money, even if that money was dwindling in recent generations. "My granddad?" Desiree's gaze shifted slightly. "He's also a chef and a remarkable one at that." "Is he still alive?" Olivia inquired. "Yes, he should be," Desiree nodded. If her father had passed away, the culinary industry would have been shaken. She would have known about it. In her life, she only learned about her father's death through others or from the newspapers. It was a source of discomfort for her, but what could she do? She had brought it upon herself by running away from home because of a despicable man. "He should be." Olivia was taken aback, and her mind quickly probed. "Have you not seen your grandfather?" "No." Desiree shook her head, bitterness in her eyes. "I see." Olivia roughly guessed that it was related to Desiree's family matters, and it wasn't appropriate for her to continue questioning. The two fell silent, with the only sound of boiling water from the steamer in the kitchen. Just then, Wendy entered, breaking the awkward silence. "Mom, I finished washing the fruits and the floor is clean. I'm hungry. How much longer?" "Let me see." Desiree adjusted the stew to medium heat. "There's still half an hour." "You can have some fruit," Olivia suggested. "Oh." Wendy's head dropped as she walked out of the kitchen. Desiree and Olivia exchanged smiles and changed the subject. "All right, Liv, time to do the ribs." Desiree provided meticulous instructions, step by step, while explaining cooking taboos and precautions to Olivia, who listened attentively. Soon the dishes were ready. Olivia carried them to the dining table, along with the rice. When she turned back to the kitchen, the aroma from the stew tantalized her senses. There was no need to mention the enticing aroma of the braised pork ribs and chicken. Just one whiff would reveal their tender and succulent meat. But what truly made it delicious was the subtle herbal fragrance, the fresh taste, and the sweetness, as well as the delicate aroma. The essence of this dish was undoubtedly in the soup. After washing her hands, Olivia sat at the dining table. Being the only one who hadn't helped, Wendy took the initiative to serve Olivia and Desiree. Olivia picked up her spoon and thanked Wendy. "Thank you." "You're welcome." Wendy smiled. "Mom, this stew smells amazing." "If you like it, please have some more." Desiree smiled. Seeing her daughter enjoy the food she made brought her immense joy. "Okay." Wendy smiled happily. Having a mother who knew how to cook might be considered normal, but having a mother who cooked incredibly delicious food, that kind of happiness was beyond imagination. Olivia gazed at the delicate oil droplets floating on the soup, which appeared crystal clear. She used a spoon to scoop up a mouthful and savored the slightly hot soup. It contained a perfect blend of freshness, mellowness, and aromatic herbs. Delicious. At that moment, the sound of a key unlocking the door reverberated from outside. "Perhaps Victoria's back," Wendy mumbled while nibbling on a piece of chicken. But didn't Victoria say she wouldn't be back until tonight? Desiree was puzzled and leaned forward to get a glimpse of the door. The door swung open and 2 figures entered. Victoria looked a bit frail. Her cheeks were flushed, her eyes watery, and she appeared slightly weak. The men supporting her looked to be under 30, wearing a light gray fur coat over his suit. He exuded an air of handsomeness and radiance. "Wait, is that Nate?" Olivia whispered to Desiree. "Yes," Desiree nodded. "Isn't he handsome?" Whether he was handsome or not, he certainly looked very young, and the fact that he was practically carrying his mother was eye-catching. Desiree approached Victoria, concern evident in her voice. "Victoria, what happened to you?" "It's nothing," Victoria frowned, lacking strength in her voice. "Victoria had a high fever of 102 degrees. We work in the same office building, so I accompanied her to the hospital for an IV drip." Nate interjected, his words tinged with annoyance as if complaining. "She didn't even want to tell you she was sick." "I'm fine," Victoria weakly smiled. "I just need a short rest." "I'll help her to rest for a while," Desiree said, guiding Victoria with her arm. "Take it slow." Observing their departure, Olivia turned her attention to Nate. "Nate, is it?" She looked at him closely. He had a distinct and polished physical appearance. He possesses a well-groomed and professional demeanor, reflecting his attention to detail, Olivia thought, taking stock of things she liked and didn't like about him. With sharp features, he had a defined jawline that adds a touch of masculinity to his overall look, and his expressive eyes convey intelligence and curiosity, giving him an inquisitive and observant aura. His confident posture and poised demeanor exude professionalism, mirroring his smart and diligent nature. Overall, Nate's appearance reflects a combination of sophistication, youthfulness, and an air of competence, even if he does look a bit plain. "That's right, Nate Evans, and you are—" Nate scrutinized Olivia's features, then his eyes lit up. "You're Victoria's daughter, Liv, right?" "Yes," Olivia nodded. "Hello, and thank you for bringing my mother back." "Don't mention it." Nate shook his head. "You should also advise Victoria to take a leave of absence if she's not feeling well. She could have an infection from her surgery." "I will." Olivia regarded Nate closely and asked, "Have you eaten? We're having a meal now if you were hungry. It's the least we could do for you to take care of my mom." No, it's all right." Nate waved his hand. "I'll just head back to the office and grab a bite." "You sure? It's just an extra pair of utensils." Olivia exchanged a glance with Wendy. Understanding the silent signal, Wendy quickly fetched an additional set of utensils and an extra plate and bowl. "Please, let us thank you." Nate still wanted to refuse but couldn't find the right words. "Do you think simple home-cooked meals won't suit your taste?" Desiree chimed in, extending the invitation. "Not at all." Nate smiled and replied. Finally, he sat down and began eating. The food is delicious. Indeed, this soup was far superior to anything he had at home. "So you were my mom's boss? You look so young to be a boss," Olivia teased. "Well, I'm not that young anymore. I'm almost 30. Nate smiled. "Are you originally from New York City?" Olivia tilted her head. Curiosity sparked in her eyes. "From your accent, it doesn't sound like it." "I am from here, but I've studied and worked in London. That's why my accent sounds different," Nate responded. "Which school did you graduate from?" Olivia propped her chin on her hand, wearing a pensive expression. "Wendy and I are in high school now, and we're still undecided about which colleges we will end up matriculating to. I studied finance at London University and then pursued a graduate degree in business management," Nate answered, feeling a slight pressure despite the mundane conversation. "Oh," Olivia nodded thoughtfully. "Where do you currently live? Is it far away? Will it be convenient to go back later?" "I'm currently living in Brooklyn. It's a bit of a distance, but I drove here, so it's fine," Nate responded. "I'll have to head back to the office for some overtime work later." "Wow, that sounds tough," Olivia glanced at Nate's bowl and remarked, "Well, you should eat more before you have to head back to work." "Thank you," Nate smiled, unsure why he felt somewhat pressured, as if meeting his girlfriend's parents for the first time. Although he had never experienced it, he could imagine the feeling. Wendy looked at Olivia and then at Nate, not understanding why Olivia suddenly became so talkative. Normally, Olivia was reserved and gentle, not one to ask so many questions to someone she had just met. Was it because Nate was Victoria's superior and she wanted to get closer to him? Or perhaps it was because Nate had brought Victoria back and Olivia felt grateful? Unable to comprehend, Wendy finally broke into laughter, though she quickly suppressed it, realizing it was impolite. Nonetheless, her shoulders still shook slightly. "Liv?" Desiree wanted to maintain a stern expression, but found Olivia's questioning amusing. She burst into laughter within seconds. Olivia probed, "So, Nate, are you seeing someone?" Nate awkwardly cleared his throat. Not at the moment, not yet." "So you don't have a girlfriend?" Olivia pressed on. "I don't have one, no." Nate shook his head. "Then what kind of girl does Nate Evans like?" Olivia leaned forward, feigning curiosity. "We have a few single female teachers at our school who are nice. They're also around your age." "Liv?" Desiree glanced at Olivia and chided, "You mustn't be rude." "Not at all," Olivia pouted like a playful child. "I'm just trying to help, right, Nate?" Nate hesitated for a moment before answering. "I think fate is the most important factor in bringing people together. I don't care about age or appearance." "Fate?" Olivia furrowed her brow, then decided to drop the subject. After Nate left, Olivia and Wendy took charge of tidying up the table. Engaging in conversation, Wendy pointed out how Olivia had been quite inquisitive with Nate earlier. "Yes," Olivia affirmed. "Since he's interested in pursuing my mother, I feel a responsibility to look out for her, don't you think?" Surprised, Wendy exclaimed, "Really? Do you think Nate wants to pursue your mom?" "You don't know?" Olivia carried the dishes and utensils to the kitchen. "Seemed pretty obvious to me." "I had no idea," Wendy responded with wide eyes. "Nate is just 29. Isn't that a case of the older cow eating tender grass?" "Oh my God, Wendy, what a terrible metaphor." Olivia playfully rolled her eyes at Wendy's comment. She couldn't help but laugh. Chuckling, Wendy grabbed a cloth to wipe the table and said, "I'll handle this side." "Great. I'll leave it to you then. I'll go check on my mother." Olivia agreed, heading to wash her hands. She entered Victoria's room stealthily and settled herself on a chair next to the bed. Carefully, Olivia extended her hand and gently touched Victoria's forehead, which had already cooled. Observing her mother's peaceful slumber and the faint traces of worry on her brows, Olivia's mind swirled with various emotions. She yearned for her mother's happiness, wanting her to experience a joy-filled life unlike any other. "Nate," Olivia whispered his name thoughtfully. Although he seemed like a good man, the significant age difference troubled her. What about 10 or 20 years from now? When Nate reached his 40s, would he remain devoted to Victoria? Olivia couldn't be certain. Having seen the failure of her own parents' marriage, Olivia was determined to shield her mother from any potential pain in the future. Initially, she had considered matchmaking Victoria and Michael, as they were truly in love once. But now, with Nate's appearance, her confidence wavered. "I must proceed cautiously and take things one step at a time," Olivia sighed. The uncertainty of her future was one thing, but if it involved her mother's happiness, it demanded the utmost care and deliberation. Victoria stirred slightly, emitting a soft moan as she gradually opened her eyes. Catching sight of Olivia by the bedside, she spoke in a hoarse voice. "Liv, honey, I'm thirsty." Responding promptly, Olivia rose from her chair and fetched a cup of water. "Here, sit up and drink some water," she gently urged. Concerned, Olivia asked, "How do you feel?" "Much better," Victoria replied, taking a sip of water. "I'm sorry for worrying you." Olivia shared her encounter with Nate, mentioning that she had expressed gratitude on Victoria's behalf. "So you thanked him?" Victoria inquired. Yes, and I even treated him to some food," Olivia informed her, holding the cup Victoria had just used. "You should rest now." Agreeing, Victoria settled back into bed. Olivia extended her hand to tuck Victoria under the blanket, her mind occupied by thoughts of Nate. She listened attentively to Victoria's assessment of him as a diligent and promising individual, sensing that her mother wasn't currently interested in him romantically. Olivia replied, acknowledging Victoria's evaluation. "He does seem quite impressive." "Liv, could you come back here tomorrow?" Victoria suddenly asked, her tone tinged with unease. "Yeah, I definitely can," Olivia reassured her with a smile. "But I do have to return early tomorrow." Curiosity piqued, Victoria queried, "What's happening?" "Tomorrow evening at 7, Johnson's Food is holding its annual meeting. Dad wants me to attend as well," Olivia explained. "It's nothing important," she added. Her experiences in her past life suggested it would be a dull affair. In truth, Olivia always found herself feeling out of place during these gatherings, merely observing or daydreaming, while Monica and Rachel effortlessly took center stage, captivating those around them. Olivia had grown accustomed to her peripheral role in her past life, dressed in ill-fitting attire, sitting silently at the side, eating or lost in her thoughts. However, this year might be different, as Bruno and Edward had returned. The arrival of these two was bound to attract numerous admirers. Olivia could only shake her head, resigned to her fate. If given a choice, she would prefer to avoid attending altogether. "What's the matter?" Victoria noticed Olivia's expression and inquired curiously. "Nothing." Olivia changed the subject, replying, "Oh, but I forgot to tell you, Mom, my uncle has returned." "Who, Bruno?" Victoria asked, her eyes darkening with a tinge of anger and worry. "Yes, he's back," Victoria confirmed. Olivia nodded in agreement. "I see." Victoria's tone grew somber. She appeared displeased and anxious. "What's wrong, Mom?" Olivia gazed at her with concern. "It's nothing," Victoria sighed, averting her gaze. The situation within the Johnson family was no longer her concern anyway. "Is there something you can't tell me?" Olivia sensed that there was more to the situation, seeing Victoria's evasive behavior. "Don't overthink it, it's nothing." Victoria dismissed Olivia's probing. "Mom, I'll be returning to the Johnson mansion tomorrow. If there's anything I should be aware of, please let me know. I don't want to upset Uncle unintentionally," Olivia expressed, adding, "or make Grandpa angry." She observed Victoria closely, aware that her mention of Grandpa Jack hit a nerve. This matter must be connected to him too. "Actually," Victoria hesitated momentarily, realizing she should disclose the details to Olivia. She turned her gaze towards her daughter and revealed, "You've likely noticed that your grandfather favors Bruno over your father." "I'm aware," Olivia nodded. She had witnessed it firsthand yesterday, and it was only natural. Bruno was the pride of the Johnson family. The Johnson family business centers around food and beverages, and cooking holds great significance within our family, Victoria explained. Though your father is the eldest son, and has expanded the empire into other fields, and is even the heir to the Johnson family fortune, the true power lies elsewhere. Olivia narrowed her eyes, intrigued, and she leaned forward. After recounting the entire encounter with Devon, Olivia noticed a smile on Wendy's face. Olivia was taken aback by her mother's new information. "The power of the Johnson family still rests in your grandfather's hands," Victoria explained to Olivia. "He is the chairman of Johnson's Food, and may intend to retain his authority until your uncle returns from Europe. Who knows?" Victoria said, letting out a sigh. She paused for a moment before continuing. "Your father, his mood might be a bit down. If you have some free time, you should spend it with him." In the past, Victoria had stood by Michael's side, enduring Grandpa Jack's favoritism and injustice, trying to convince Michael of what she herself could easily see. However, that obligation was no longer hers. Olivia would have to shoulder that responsibility. I understand. Olivia nodded. The day before, while having a meal together, she had sensed that Michael's mood was low. Now, it all made sense. Your father has had a rather pitiable life, losing his mother at an early age, and never experiencing genuine fatherly love due to your grandfather's preferences for Bruno, Victoria explained. If he hasn't always been there for you or made mistakes, don't blame him. He never had the chance to learn how to be a father. Olivia acknowledged this perspective. It shed light on why Michael had been distant in her previous life, only providing her with financial support. In this life, though, when she had reached out to him for help, he had tried his best, albeit clumsily. Suddenly, Chris Jones' words about his concern for her made Olivia feel a warmth in her heart. At least someone was looking out for her. Thinking of Chris made her smile. What are you grinning about? Victoria looked at Olivia. Did you think of something happy? Nothing. Olivia shook her head and asked Victoria, Mom, you've been divorced from Dad for so many years, and you still care about him so much. Don't you blame him for being with Rachel? Why do you blame him for this? Victoria smiled lightly. He was with Rachel after my divorce, and he did not cheat on her. What? Olivia was stunned for a moment. Mom, Dad didn't cheat with her? No. Victoria sat up, and Olivia fluffed up her pillow for her. Liv, listen to Mommy. Victoria's expression was focused. Your father is not a bad person. You have to take good care of him by his side. Then why did you and my father get divorced? Olivia did not understand. If it was not an affair, then how did it separate the two people who loved each other so much? Furthermore, what was the matter with Rachel? From her tone, it seemed that she was the one who snatched Michael away. It's all in the past. Victoria's eyes looked a little evasive. Don't ask anymore. Can't you tell me? Olivia looked at Victoria. No. Victoria's expression was heavy as she looked at Olivia with a resolute gaze. Until I die, I will bring this secret underground. That was the best for Olivia and Michael. Olivia had never seen Victoria like this before and was stunned. She only nodded after a long while. I see. Even if Victoria did not tell her, she would find out the reason herself. She would read everyone's thoughts until one day, someone let themselves go back in their mind, and she could clearly see what had happened. So far, though, her mother didn't even let herself think about it. What happened 17 years ago was like a thorn in Olivia's heart. Michael hid it from her, too. But if Victoria did not tell her, she must find out from somewhere else what had exactly happened. Liv, don't give yourself too much pressure. Mom just wants you to grow up safely. Victoria sighed. Ordinary is a good thing. Right. Olivia's eyes moved slightly. The two most difficult words in the world were peace and ordinary. These two words were already getting further and further away from her. She hadn't been brought back for such things, but maybe, if she could get all her revenge, she would probably be able to be safe and ordinary and have peace for the rest of her life. By the way, I bought you some new clothes. They're in the closet. Go ahead and see if you like them, Victoria mentioned, changing the topic. Olivia walked over to the closet and found the shopping bags with the clothes Victoria had bought. She admired the black knitted coat and the fresh and suitable cotton skirt. They're so beautiful, Mom, Olivia exclaimed. I'm glad you like them. Victoria smiled, pleased that her choice had pleased her daughter. What do you want to eat tonight, sweetie? Victoria asked. I'll make it for you. There is nothing for you to cook. Olivia interrupted Victoria and put the clothes into the shopping bag. Desiree will cook. You just need to rest well. I am all right. Victoria stretched out her arm. The effect of the medicine is quite fast. Shh, you need rest. Olivia frowned. You have really grown up. You've already started to take care of me. That's the least I can do. Olivia shrugged. Is there anything you want to eat? No, Nate made sure I ate something at the hospital, so I'm okay now. Oh, Olivia nodded thoughtfully. This Nate Evans treated Victoria quite well. Mom, is it possible for you to remarry with my dad? My fate with him has long ended, sweetie. Victoria pretended to be relaxed and shrugged. I don't like him like that anymore. The past is the past. Olivia did not reply and only looked at Victoria's somewhat sorrowful eyes. Desiree knocked on the door and then entered when Victoria beckoned her inside. Hey, Liv, I wrote a shopping list for you and Wendy. If you guys wanted to grab more groceries for the week, figured you could have fun with it while I make a bunch of soups for Victoria to eat this week, and while she rests, Desiree said. Okay. Olivia nodded her head and got up. She kissed Victoria before leaving. 2 dozen eggs? Wendy read the shopping list while putting the eggs into the shopping cart. That's so much, but whatever if my mom insists. She and Olivia busied themselves for half an hour before they bought all the things Desiree wanted. From the ingredients to daily necessities to some small impulsive buys, they ended up with 4 big shopping bags. If it were only Wendy herself, she would not be able to carry them back. Let me pay. Olivia handed Wendy the card Michael gave her. Swipe the card. I will give you the money later, Wendy said. No need. Olivia shook her head and said, think of this as me buying my mom groceries, and you're a guest at her house, so you don't need to pay for anything. We like to treat our guests well. Wendy nodded, grateful. The girls carried their purchases and chatted idly as they exited the store. 2 middle-aged men outside the store exchanged a glance and then began tailing Olivia and Wendy, following closely behind the girls. One of the men had a slim figure and was of average height, around 5'10", with tan skin and light stubble dotting his chin. He wore Ray-Ban glasses and seemed to be missing a tooth. The other man, who was much shorter, wore a leather jacket and had a large tattoo on his neck of an eagle. The taller man in the glasses moved between Olivia and Wendy, addressing them both in a teasing manner. Hey, cuties. You 2 sisters? Both Olivia and Wendy stiffened up in fear. As the man squeezed between them, Wendy suddenly felt her pocket becoming lighter. My wallet is missing, she exclaimed. Olivia instinctively suspected the man to be the culprit, and Wendy sprinted after him, setting down her shopping bags and running in pursuit. Wendy! Olivia frowned. Be careful! But Wendy had already caught the man with the glasses, only to find that he did not have her wallet. Olivia looked at the man with the tattoo and realized that the first guy must have handed off the wallet to his friend as he ran from Wendy. It's him, the other one. He's got your wallet. The man in the leather jacket with the tattoo heard Olivia's call and promptly fled the scene as quickly as he could. Wendy continued to give chase while yelling for help. I have to help, Olivia thought, and she summoned her powers to try to make the man trip before he could get away. But Wendy was running right behind him, so Olivia couldn't get a clear look at him without risking hurting her friend too. Damn it, she thought. Wendy, move! She yelled. But Wendy didn't hear her. She was too focused on scrambling to catch up to the man. It was almost too late, though. They were approaching a busy intersection, and if he could duck into the crowd and dart this way and that, he'd get away from her forever, and all would be lost. At that moment, a girl rushed over from the opposite direction and used her arm to clothesline the thief and force him to the ground. Then she quickly jumped on his chest and retrieved Wendy's wallet from his hand before sternly warning him, Get lost and don't let me catch you again. Infuriated, the man tried to strike the girl's face, but she swiftly countered, grabbing his arm and throwing him over her shoulder. Onlookers cheered and applauded her swift action. The defeated thief cursed at the girl before running away, followed by his buddy. The girl approached Wendy and Olivia, returning the wallet to Wendy. Thank you. Wendy expressed her gratitude and admiration for the girl's brave intervention. It's nothing. The girl waved off their thanks. She then recognized Olivia, saying, Oh, we met earlier today, didn't we? I'm Devin. Olivia also recalled their previous encounter. This was the woman she thought was crazy before. Yes, we did. I'm sorry if I called you eccentric before. That was inappropriate. Devin smiled, understanding. No worries. Where are you headed now? We're going home. Olivia replied, lifting the shopping bag. I just bought some things. Here, I'll help you carry them, Devin offered. Olivia hesitated, but eventually accepted the help. But she felt a bit cautious, still unsure about Devin's intentions. So, Devin, do you live around here? Yeah, just got to town to stay with family, Devin said enigmatically. Technically, it wasn't a lie. But I'll be here for a while, and I'm always looking for cool people my age if you guys ever want to hang. Cool, Wendy said enthusiastically. She was less cautious than Olivia, or she just felt indebted to this stranger who had saved her wallet. Clearly, anyone who was willing to get hurt saving a stranger's possessions had to be a good person, right? Why don't we exchange info? At the very least, I can Venmo you some money as, like, a reward for saving my wallet. Devin smiled. Sounds like a plan. After Devin helped the girls carry their groceries to Olivia's, she bid farewell to them. And once she stood alone on the curb again, she made a triumphant gesture toward a nearby black Bentley that had slowly been following her. Inside the car, Jeremy observed the exchange between Olivia, Wendy, and Devin. He instructed the driver. Albert, drive the car over to pick her up. Albert complied, driving closer to Devin. She beamed with pride as she got back in, and she teased Jeremy. See? I told you I could get close to your little crush. It's really too bad for you that she apparently likes that Chris Jones fellow. Jeremy's expression remained impassive, but he felt a pang of jealousy inwardly. What if Olivia was truly into Chris? They were engaged, but what if their engagement eventually became a reality, and there was actual, real emotion behind it? Jeremy couldn't help but feel uneasy and conflicted about the possibility. Once she arrived back at her mother's apartment, Olivia remained by Victoria's side for the remainder of the night, providing unwavering support and care. The following day, precisely at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Olivia politely requested her driver, Morris Bratt, to pick her up. Returning to the Johnson mansion, she adorned herself in the formal dress that Michael had entrusted Ansel Parr to prepare for her. Now, elegantly attired, Olivia set off for the hotel where the Johnson family's grand annual meeting was being held. This year's annual gathering not only brought together all the Johnson family's employees, but also numerous business partners and associates, all eager to meet Bruno and establish connections with the influential family. The presence of Bruno also attracted several prominent figures from the political and international world. The scene exuded a sense of opulence and vibrancy. Bruno, clad in an elegant tuxedo, gracefully held a champagne glass, engaging in pleasant conversations with the guests surrounding him. Rachel and Monica stood together, their radiance drawing admiration from the daughters of wealthy families. Meanwhile, Edward Johnson sat composed on a nearby chaise in the VIP section of the grand ballroom, his aura deterring strangers from approaching him. Grandpa Jack, dressed in an exquisite Armani suit, occupied the best seat in the room, his expression radiating pride and contentment. His laughter resonated throughout the venue, adding to the joyous atmosphere. Michael, on the other hand, conversed with his business partners, but the air around him paled in comparison to Bruno's magnetism. Grandpa Jack's gaze remained focused on his second son. The moment Olivia entered the venue, her keen observation and ability to read minds allowed her to discern the atmosphere clearly. Stepping forward, Olivia approached Michael and greeted him with warmth. "Dad, I'm here." Michael acknowledged her presence with a nod and proudly introduced Olivia to the others, proclaiming, "Everyone, this is my eldest daughter, Olivia." With a warm smile, Olivia greeted the assembled guests. "Hello, everyone." "You look lovely, dear," an older socialite gushed. "You flatter me too much," Olivia responded with a smile before turning to Michael. "Dad, I must insist you avoid excessive drinking tonight. It's easy to lose control when one is in a bad mood, and we wouldn't want any mishaps." Michael heartedly laughed, appreciating Olivia's concern. "Sure, you don't have to worry about that, sweetie, but thank you for looking out." "Very well," Olivia nodded, bidding farewell to the guests surrounding Michael before stepping away from the crowd to find some food or a beverage to occupy her. You are truly fortunate. Your daughter cares deeply for you. One of Michael's close friends commented. My daughter, on the other hand, is nothing like her. All she cares about is buying bags, clothes, and cosmetics. She's certainly one of a kind, Michael responded, a hint of pride in his eyes. The haze in his heart dissipated somewhat, showing that he genuinely cared for his daughter. But she still is young. When she goes to college, I'm afraid her bags could become more important to her than her dad, he joked. Laughter echoed among the fathers present. The complexities of fatherhood resonated with them all. After greeting Michael, Olivia went to pay her respects to Grandpa Jack. She then found a quiet corner to enjoy some snacks and a refreshing drink. Having skipped dinner, she was grateful to have something now, as she sought some solace in the midst of the bustling event. However, solitude seemed elusive. Unbeknownst to Olivia, a dozen or so individuals were approaching, all with seemingly ill intentions. They were led by Monica, adorned in a splendid one-shoulder gown. Monica seemed to relish the attention she commanded like a moon surrounded by stars. Older sister, why are you sitting here alone? You should join us, Monica taunted, her smile smug. Olivia calmly met her gaze. And what shall we talk about? The cost of your gown, or the hours spent on your hairstyle, perhaps? Monica's smile faltered, caught off guard by Olivia's directiveness. We can discuss anything, she responded, trying to remain nonplussed. Why don't you tell me where you've been these 2 days? I see no reason to inform you of my whereabouts, Olivia remarked, observing Monica's sour expression. Olivia, no matter what, Monica is your younger sister and we are family. There's no need for you to be rude to her. A girl standing beside Monica spoke with a hostile glare at Olivia. And do you believe this is strictly a family matter? Olivia recalled the girl from Rachel's birthday banquet. Allie Anderson, if I remember correctly. Your family's law firm was not on the invitation list, right? You. Hallie choked, taken aback by Olivia's newfound assertiveness. Olivia studied the socialites before her, discerning 3 distinct types. Those who disliked her, those attempting to mediate, and those who merely watched, ignorant of what was even going on. Miss Anderson was invited by me. Is there a problem? Another familiar face, whom she had encountered at Rachel's birthday banquet, spoke up. Her name was Amy Leadham, and she was one of Monica's little idiot friends. Amy's sleek, jet black hair was meticulously styled, framing a face adorned with sharp features and an imperious gaze that seemed to look down on others. Her cold, steel-blue eyes pierced through those she deemed inferior, a smirk of superiority tugging at the corners of her perfectly painted lips. She carried herself with an air of entitlement, evident in her extravagant designer outfits that accentuated her slender figure. Her haughty demeanor and dismissive attitude exuded a sense of superiority, leaving no doubt that she considered herself above Olivia. Geez, Olivia's kind of a bitch. A few of Monica's other friends chimed in. Monica had initiated the conflict, and Haley and Amy and the others supported her. A couple of others stood by, watching amused. The high society girls loved manufactured drama like this. They fed on gossip and infighting like little birds. Olivia smiled and withheld her response. Everyone questioning her belonged to the group that hadn't attended the Cooper family's banquet. The news about her actions at the Cooper residence had been kept hidden, and even Olivia didn't dare say them aloud, for fear of it hurting her father's business. So all of these people surrounding Monica now viewed Olivia merely as a pest, with little knowledge of her true capabilities. Even if she was engaged to the young master of the Jones family, these people didn't think that was necessarily going to last, so they didn't take it so seriously. They naturally sided with Monica, whose younger brother had become a disciple of Bruno, and of Bruno's mentor, Franco Alva. It was possible Monica one day could become a disciple of such great men herself. This was all perfectly natural, and Olivia didn't fault them for it, but they had underestimated her true abilities. Are you all done talking? Olivia's lips curled into a composed smile. If you've said your piece, kindly step aside. I'd like to enjoy my meal. This was her family's big event, and she didn't want to cause any unnecessary trouble, especially considering Michael's current emotional state. However, if others pushed her too far, she wouldn't hesitate to assert herself. Olivia, you're supposedly part of the Johnson family, though. There's so many guests, yet you don't help greet them. You're just thinking about eating. That's rather irresponsible, don't you think? Monica said. At least do something. I've also been busy and haven't eaten. This is a high-class banquet, and it's customary to participate. Of course, you might not understand such things. Taking a deep breath, Olivia fixed her gaze on Monica's smug smile, and suddenly felt a tinge of weariness from the events of this period. She had no intention of causing any disturbances today, because she really wanted to avoid trouble for Michael. But Monica's provocation was forcing her hand. Olivia began to feel a tingling from deep within, though she tried to suppress it. Monica observed the anger in Olivia's eyes and instinctively took a step back. However, knowing that both Bruno and Edward were at the event and on her side, she regained her confidence and puffed out her chest. And Olivia, what's with your tone? Did I say something wrong? No, Olivia retorted, flashing a wide smile. You said nothing wrong. How could you, Monica, ever be wrong? Monica, arrogantly misinterpreting Olivia's reaction as fear, allowed her haughtiness to swell further. You should learn a thing or two from me. Otherwise, even if you wear expensive gowns, it'll only make you... But what will it make me? Olivia's expression abruptly soured as a haunting memory resurfaced. Monica had uttered these exact words in her previous life. An ugly peasant in fancy attire? Monica was taken aback. She had planned to say those exact words, but seeing Olivia seize the opportunity, Monica chuckled awkwardly. Well, I guess you know your place then. The few socialites and girls standing beside Monica joined in the laughter, their eyes filled with disdain when they looked at Olivia. Olivia said nothing and merely observed those laughing faces, committing each one to memory. She knew she would make them regret this moment. As she thought about what she had in store for each of them, her gaze acquired a sharp edge, a touch of coldness that caused the smiling socialites to freeze, their laughter dying in their throats. Once they fell silent, Olivia forced out a laugh. Ha ha! Hallie was baffled by Olivia's lack of fear and elbowed the person next to her. Is she crazy? Who knows? Amy scrutinized Olivia. Something about Olivia seemed off to her. Liv, what are you laughing at? Monica asked, a hint of fear creeping into her voice as she found Olivia's smile unsettling. Olivia smiled and shook her head. It's nothing. She started to move forward, but Monica blocked her way again. Where are you going? Monica questioned, unwilling to let Olivia go so easily, since she hadn't seen Olivia humiliated yet. Didn't you just suggest I greet the guests? Olivia looked at Monica. I'm going to do just that. There was no sharpness in Olivia's words, and Monica hesitated to give in. But she had no reason not to. Still, she wanted to yield slowly. Great, Amy sneered. Since you're eager to entertain guests, fetch me a cup of club soda, would you? I'm feeling thirsty, and I'm a guest. I'm afraid I'll have to trouble you to find a waiter for such a request, Olivia replied, looking straight at Amy. According to formal etiquette rules, one should not visit someone else's banquet and ask the host to serve you. But maybe you weren't taught proper manners in your family, in which case, perhaps you shouldn't be mocking other people's upbringing. Excuse me? Amy blushed, appalled that someone would dare question her upbringing. Don't act as if you received a good upbringing, Haley interjected with disdain, eyes searing into Olivia. We all know you came from the slums and now you're talking about upbringing. It's laughable. Well, at least I don't need to mooch off extra invitations to attend someone else's banquet, Olivia retorted, her expression unchanged. From that perspective, Haley, you might not even be worthy of discussing the word upbringing, right? Liv, why are you arguing with a guest? Monica frowned, looking at Olivia. I'm not. I'm simply teaching them how to ask nicely for a club soda and how to speak to a host since clearly you didn't pick friends with proper etiquette. Olivia locked eyes with her. Watch out. You are the company you keep. No wonder you don't have a boyfriend. Monica clenched her teeth. Olivia was indeed cunning. Monica felt torn about whether to speak up or not, for fear of being insulted in front of her friends. Do you have anything else to say? Olivia looked around at the changing expressions and asked, If not, then step aside. Guests should be received by the host. Don't hinder my hospitality. Everyone scattered to the side, making way for her. Thanks, Olivia sneered as she walked through the opening in their circle. But Monica couldn't accept Olivia's humiliations and decided to take action. She rolled her eyes and extended her leg, intending to make Olivia stumble. Amy saw what Monica was doing but said nothing, merely nudging Haley beside her. Haley's eyes sparkled with anticipation. She couldn't wait for Olivia to fall flat on her face. But Olivia could read Monica's mind, so she saw what she was planning. And then she caught the subtle gestures of Amy and Haley and immediately became vigilant. In her peripheral vision, she caught Monica sticking out her leg and attempting to trip her. And as Olivia approached Monica's feet, she lifted her own foot deliberately and stomped down forcefully. Ah! Monica cried out in pain as she stumbled backward, quickly pulling her foot away from under Olivia's. She lost her balance and fell, scraping her knee. Monica's cry drew everyone's attention, including Michael's and Rachel's. Rachel immediately rushed over, her face tightening. She saw Olivia standing near Monica and surmised that Olivia was somehow involved. Frowning, Rachel inquired, Monica, what happened? Mommy! Monica's eyes watered as she tried to complain. I'm in so much pain, it's all... Come, Rachel interrupted quickly, squeezing Monica's hand a little tighter to signal her to stop. She then inspected Monica's dress with the wooden pipe and found no damage. She released Monica's hand, silently warning her to remain composed. The last thing she wanted was any trouble during the event. Rachel looked up at Olivia. Liv, what happened? I think she accidentally fell, Olivia responded, feigning ignorance. Her expression seemed to suggest that she was merely an innocent bystander. It happened so suddenly, I don't know what happened. No, Mommy, Monica's anger flared as she heard Olivia's words. Olivia seemed shameless, denying her ruthless act of stepping on Monica's foot had caused Monica to fall and whimper in pain. How could Olivia claim ignorance when she was clearly the culprit? Monica? Rachel intervened, her gaze lingering on Olivia before she turned to Monica with a faint smile. Just be more careful in the future, Rachel added. Today is an important day for the Johnson family, and as the daughter of the Johnson family, you need to be cautious. Hearing this, Monica refrained from further arguing, especially on such a significant occasion. She swallowed her grievances, glaring fiercely at Olivia. She thought, just wait. Bruno and Edward are here. They'll support me. Olivia maintained her smile, meeting Rachel's and Monica's eyes full of hatred. With a blink, she conveyed a warning to her daughter, signaling her not to provoke her today. I witnessed Olivia step on Monica. Amy pointed at Olivia and said, all eyes turned back to them. The plot had taken an intriguing turn. Is that true? Olivia smiled and shook her head, addressing Amy. I did not. Could it be that you're a mistake? No, I didn't make a mistake, Amy insisted, turning to Monica. Monica, isn't that what happened? It was odd. Monica had been wronged, so why was Rachel not allowing her to speak? Was Rachel siding with Olivia if she didn't support Monica? All eyes were on Monica, waiting for her response. If Monica confirmed that Olivia had stepped on her, Olivia's guilt would be established. What happened? Michael approached. Don't worry, it's nothing. Rachel replied with a smile and shook her head. She didn't want to draw her husband's attention or ruin his mood tonight. She especially didn't want Monica to. He'd never forgive her. Sir? I saw Olivia step on Monica's foot and make her fall, Amy said. Liv, is that true? Michael looked at Olivia. Miss Leadham is mistaken, Olivia replied. No, I am not wrong, Amy countered. She glanced at Monica again, seeking her support. Monica, why don't you tell him? It was strange. Olivia had clearly stepped on Monica, yet Monica was now claiming she fell. Amy wanted to say something more, but was stopped by Haley. Haley looked at Rachel and caught a glimpse of her unwillingness to cause a stir tonight. Though she had hatred in her eyes, Haley quickly analyzed the situation. Olivia was lucky, but she also possessed some cunning. Seeing the current situation, Haley took 2 steps back. The Johnson family's matters were complicated, and she didn't want to get entangled in them any further. I just fell. She didn't hurt me, Monica said. Michael's facial expression softened as he eased up. He patted her shoulder and said, Just be careful in the future. Got it, Dad. Monica forced a smile. I'll leave this to you, Michael said to Rachel before turning to entertain the guests. All right, Rachel replied. Fortunately, her heavy makeup concealed her true feelings. She smiled lightly at the surrounding socialites, saying, Those rose cranberry madeleines over there are delicious. You should all try them. Oh, yes. The socialites tactfully dispersed upon hearing her suggestion. As Olivia passed by Amy, her smile widened. Intelligence was a virtue, but unfortunately, not everyone possessed it. You. Amy was provoked by Olivia's expression and wanted to argue. Amy? Haley immediately stopped her and pulled Amy to the side. Why are you stopping me? Amy frowned. Olivia had provoked her earlier, so what was Haley doing now? If you know what's good for you, don't meddle in the Johnson family affairs, Haley advised solemnly. What do you mean? Amy was puzzled. Did you notice? When you told Mr. Johnson what you saw earlier, the first person he asked was Olivia. Haley said, That proves that in his heart, Olivia's position is more significant right now. He trusts her more than Monica. That Olivia has only been back for a little while, though. Amy couldn't believe that someone who had appeared less than half a year ago could replace Monica, who had been by Michael's side for over 10 years. That's Olivia's cunning. Haley gazed in Monica's direction with a thoughtful expression. We know Monica's character well. Selfish, arrogant, and lawless. What do you think of her today? She's afraid, Amy replied, her intuition guiding her. Even if she was stepped on, Monica wouldn't dare to speak up. But why? It's not fear. Hallie rolled her eyes. Today is the Johnson family's annual meeting, an important event. If news spread that the 2 Johnson sisters weren't getting along, it would damage their family's image. Monica is not afraid. She's learning to endure. Haley saw Amy finally understand and sighed. It seems Monica has not suffered much from Olivia this time, but next time she might not be so lucky. Haley wondered what the future held. Rachel wouldn't let Monica be suppressed by Olivia or suffer any losses. With Rachel's help, Monica would eventually beat Olivia at her own game, surely. Haley eagerly awaited the real confrontation between the 2 sisters in the future. Who would emerge victorious? Rachel led her daughter Monica to the hotel guest room they got ready in earlier. A sense of worry consumed her mind. It appeared that in Michael's heart, Olivia had already transcended Monica's place. How could this be possible? An unsettling feeling of unease gripped Rachel's heart. She couldn't bear the thought of being overshadowed by Olivia, especially when it came to her daughter. She needed to find a way to dismantle Olivia's hold on Michael's heart, allowing her daughter to reclaim her rightful position. Rachel wondered if she still held a place in Michael's heart even, but if not, she refused to accept the same fate for her daughter. She clenched her teeth, determined to take action. Victoria, she thought, even in your absence, you still scheme to occupy Michael's heart through your daughter. How can you be so selfish? Olivia, remaining at the banquet, gave up on the notion of passively observing and consuming. Instead, she fiddled with her glass of apple cider while gracefully weaving through the party. Unfortunately, she found no one worth engaging in conversation with, leaving her feeling somewhat disheartened. Despite the distressing words spoken by Monica, Olivia refused to linger on the sidelines anymore or feel like she didn't belong there. To achieve her future goals, she realized she must earnestly strive to integrate into the upper echelons of New York society. Yet, Olivia was faced with an uncertainty about the opportune moment to make her move. As she was working up the courage to begin mingling, a gentle hand landed on her shoulder from behind. Turning around, she was met with warm, smiling eyes. "Miss Johnson, long time no see," greeted a middle-aged lady, her temperament exuding grace, clad in an elegant white dress and draped with a black mink cape. She possessed a refined charm. Recognition sparked within Olivia's eyes. "Mrs. Dwyer? Oh, you still remember me." Mrs. Dwyer's face lit up with delight, revealing 2 dainty dimples. "Of course I remember," Olivia beamed. "I haven't properly thanked you for your help in setting up your son Jeff as my tutor. His tutelage was excellent and my grades improved significantly." Amused by her son's praise, Mrs. Dwyer covered her mouth and laughed. "I'm glad I could assist you. Jeff may only have one forte in academics." "Well, he's also a true gentleman," Olivia added, her impression of Jeff quite favorable. Mrs. Dwyer playfully waved her hand. "You have such a sweet tongue," she remarked, though her eyes gleamed with pride. Who wouldn't be delighted by such praise? As her admiration for Olivia grew, Mrs. Dwyer introduced her to her circle of friends as the eldest daughter of the Johnson family. Amidst the gathering, Olivia greeted everyone warmly, her demeanor lively and gracious, leaving a lasting positive impression on her hosts. The guests were eager to introduce their children to Olivia, intrigued by the stories surrounding the Johnson family. Notably absent from the group were the girls who had previously sought trouble with Olivia. Instead, she effortlessly captivated the crowd, winning hearts with her charm and wit. Meanwhile, Monica seethed with anger upon witnessing Olivia's effortless sway over the guests. Fuming with frustration, she ground her teeth at how easily Olivia had diverted attention away from her in just a brief absence. Feeling Monica's discomfort, Rachel reassured her daughter, tapping her shoulder gently and casting a stern glance at Olivia. "Today, you must bear with it no matter what. Don't give her any advantage." Though unwilling, Monica nodded solemnly. "I know." Rachel's heart ached. Fueled by a growing desire to dismantle Olivia's influence, she resolved to thwart her, no matter the cost. Feeling that Bruno was the only one capable of aiding her in this endeavor, Rachel summoned him for a private conversation. Entering an empty room, Rachel's eyes brimmed with tears before she could utter a word. Perplexed by her sorrow, Bruno instinctively reached out to wipe her tears away. "I'm fine." Rachel brushed off his gesture, wiping her tears with her fingers. "There's something I need your help with." Concerned, Bruno inquired, "Did someone offend you?" "Help me destroy Olivia," Rachel asserted, her eyes locked firmly onto Bruno. Startled, Bruno asked incredulously, "You want to destroy her?" Rachel nodded, her determination unwavering. "Surely you've noticed how differently Michael treats Olivia?" "Olivia is his daughter," Bruno replied, a touch of helplessness in his voice. He understood Rachel's jealousy, but he couldn't fathom her desire to harm Michael's daughter. "Monica is his daughter too," Rachel retorted, her excitement palpable. "Michael has never treated Monica the way he does Olivia." Contemplating her words, Bruno realized that Olivia indeed held a special place in Michael's heart, likely due to her biological connection with Victoria. He couldn't ignore the truth of Rachel's feelings, and a hint of guilt tugged at his heart. Steadfast in her purpose, Rachel emphasized, "Olivia receives preferential treatment just because she's Victoria's daughter. How could Victoria be so selfish, allowing her daughter to vie for Michael's fatherly love with Monica? I can't bear to let Olivia be stronger than Monica." Empathetic to Rachel's distress, Bruno suggested, "I can take Monica away and personally train her. As a disciple of the best chefs in the world, she'll surpass Olivia naturally." No, Rachel quickly objected. If Monica leaves and Olivia stays, Michael will only care more for her. Monica will lose her place in his heart. That's not acceptable. Then I'll take Olivia away instead, Bruno proposed. No, I cannot let Olivia go away and risk becoming stronger than Monica either, Rachel declared, resolute in her determination. Monica was already at a disadvantage, and Rachel would not allow Olivia to become a disciple of Jack's favorite son, Bruno. She refused to allow that to happen. Now I need her where I can see her, and I want you to destroy her while I watch. Witnessing Rachel's resolute determination, Bruno found himself at a loss for words. What do you intend to do to Olivia? He inquired. I want to crush her. Rachel clenched her teeth, her voice unwavering. Even if she still lives, I want to eradicate any trace of Michael's love for her from his heart. Bruno was taken aback. Is such ruthlessness necessary? Assist me, Rachel implored, leaning forward. Bruno, please help me. Rachel. Bruno furrowed his brow and he gently interrupted her. I've already told you, even if you have my brother's affections, he will always love someone else. I know, Rachel cut in resolute. I no longer desire his heart. I simply want Monica to have the paternal love that she deserves. Looking at Rachel, Bruno suddenly had a flashback to a scene 17 years ago. Bruno, help me. I love him. I must have him. Only you can help me. Rachel had cried, tearfully beseeching him back then. Even if you win my brother's love, so what? His heart belongs to Victoria. You'll never be in his eyes. As Bruno recalled his own words from that time, a sharp pang surged within his chest, as though each breath was a knife carving into his heart. Even if I can't have his heart, I'll have him as a person. Rachel's determination was evident as she bit her lip. She had sacrificed so much and loved Michael for so long. She wasn't prepared to give him up now. Bruno regarded Rachel and posed one final question. Is it really worth it? Yes, Rachel replied with unwavering determination. Bruno, help me. Rachel's words brought Bruno back to the present, memories overlapping before his eyes. His question echoed in his mind. Is it really worth it? It is worth it, Rachel reaffirmed, her focus resolute. After a heavy sigh, Bruno finally nodded. All right. Thank you. Rachel smiled at Bruno, knowing he would lend her his support. Bruno, seeing her like this, reached out and pulled her close, embracing her tightly. Resting his head on her shoulder, he inhaled her fragrance deeply. Rachel. Rachel frowned, feeling a sense of revulsion, but she suppressed it. She needed Bruno's assistance to deal with Olivia, so she clenched her fist and endured it. For Monica, she would endure anything. Unbeknownst to them, on the other side of the door, Olivia leaned against the wall, secretly recording their conversation on her phone. A sinister smile formed on her lips as she observed the two in an embrace. She had read Rachel's thoughts earlier, as Rachel scanned the room for Bruno. So Liv knew what Rachel was trying to talk to him about. So as they began their conversation, Olivia had tiptoed over to listen in and record every last word. She smiled as Rachel walked right into her trap. So tonight was a success after all, Olivia thought. Later that night, after the Johnson family's annual meeting concluded, Olivia remained sleepless in her room. She sat at her desk, a lamp casting warm light around her. Her loyal dog Polly rested on her knees. She scribbled in a small notebook, jotting down all her thoughts. The pen tipped moved deliberately, and after a moment's contemplation, Olivia circled two specific dates: Amy Leadham's father's birthday celebration and Olivia's own birthday. Those two occasions were pivotal, and she knew Rachel was most likely to strike on one of those days, because Bruno was supposed to leave just a few days after. As the warm air from the air conditioner blew softly, Olivia's eyes gleamed with a bloodthirsty desire. By early morning, snow began falling gently. At the entrance to her family's mansion, Olivia, wrapped in a thick down jacket, stood lost in thought. Last night she had been unable to sleep, and just as she drifted into a deep slumber, her cell phone rang. "Please sign here," the courier now said, presenting a delivery slip for Olivia's signature. "Thank you," Olivia replied, taking the pen and signing her name. As she looked up, she noticed the courier curiously eyeing the grandeur of her father's mansion. "That'll be all," she said. "Oh, all right," the delivery man stammered, then handed Olivia a large package. "Here you go." With that, he turned and departed. Olivia held the sizable box and turned around to enter the mansion. A nearby maid noticed and closed the door after her. "Miss, next time you can have the maid sign for such deliveries and have it sent directly to your room, so you don't have to stand out in the cold so early in the morning." "I understand," Olivia nodded, careful not to allow any of Rachel's spies to handle her deliveries. She didn't want her package to be searched or inspected by anyone else. As she walked into the grand foyer, Olivia caught sight of Michael descending the stairs. He seemed relieved after seeing all the senior members and cousins of the Johnson family yesterday. When he noticed Olivia carrying a package, he inquired, "What's that, a gift? Who sent it?" Olivia pondered for a moment. "I believe it's from my former tutor, Jeff Dreyer. He mentioned sending me a gift." "Oh," Michael said, walking over and taking the box from Olivia. "It's quite heavy." "Would you mind helping me carry it?" Olivia asked with a smile. "Sure," Michael agreed cheerfully. As they passed the living room, Olivia happened to spot Bruno standing by the stairs and greeted him. "Good morning." "Morning," Bruno replied with a deep look at Olivia before nodding and saying, "Morning, Michael." With Michael in good spirits, he nodded and greeted his brother. "Where are you headed today, Bruno?" "Going to take Edward around to see some of his old friends," Bruno said. "Very well," Michael nodded. "Have fun." Bruno watched Michael follow Olivia upstairs while carrying a package for her. Now he understood Rachel's worry. Michael seemed to hold Olivia in especially high regard, and he clearly was very fond of his eldest daughter. Michael, meanwhile, followed Olivia up to her room and placed her package on a table near the door. Olivia grabbed a pair of scissors to cut open the tape as Polly ran over and rubbed her head against Olivia's calf. Once Olivia opened the box, she understood why. It was full of dog treats and toys. "That's so thoughtful of Jeff," Olivia thought. Then she told Polly to stay, and she threw her a few treats. Michael was amused by Polly's behavior. "This dog is really well behaved." "Yeah, she's a naturally good dog. Looks like she wants to go out and play, though," Olivia said, reaching out to rub Polly's head and attaching the leash to her collar. "Did you want to come outside with us to play fetch?" "Sure, let's go together," Michael agreed. He had nothing else to do that day, so taking a walk with his daughter and her puppy sounded relaxing. It would be a stress-free activity after such an important event yesterday. Olivia was taken aback. Michael actually agreed? "Just put on another jacket," Michael reminded her. "Yep, I know," Olivia replied and handed the leash to Michael. Polly saw the leash in Michael's hand and jumped up, rubbing against him. Olivia smiled and shook her head at Polly's antics. Then after putting on a thick coat, she went outside with Michael, the father and daughter chatting and laughing as they led Polly along. Unbeknownst to them, Rachel watched them from the second floor, her eyes filled with jealousy and hatred, her fingertips gripped tightly onto the window frame. Meanwhile, at New York City International Airport, a young man in a white suit emerged from the sliding glass doors outside of baggage claim. A few men in black bodyguard attire followed closely behind him, drawing attention from onlookers. As they exited the airport, the man entered a private SUV with tinted windows. The man in the passenger seat handed him a photo and said, "Sir, it's confirmed. It's Betty." "Betty." The man delicately held the picture of the playful Siberian husky and felt his heart flutter with excitement. Finally, he had found her. "Sir, Betty was adopted by a high school student named Olivia. Here is all the information we gathered on her." The man handed over another document. It seems that Betty was injured when she was wandering, and she was treated at a veterinary hospital before being adopted by this girl. Injured? The man studied the photo of the Siberian Husky carefully. Yes, we found Betty's medical records from the veterinary hospital, the man replied. What would you like to do, sir? Prepare the gifts. I will personally pay a visit tomorrow. The man's brow furrowed, and his stern expression turned icy. Yes, the man responded respectfully and made arrangements. The man gazed out the window at the passing cars as they left the airport. If it weren't for his quest to find Betty, he probably wouldn't have returned to this city. After their walk, Olivia and Michael returned to their mansion. Polly had a great time and seemed thoroughly happy. At the door, Olivia restrained Polly, who was about to dash inside, and said, Don't run around. Wipe your feet first. A maid brought a clean cloth, and Olivia wiped Polly's paws. Good girl. Polly affectionately licked Olivia's cheek. Don't be too mischievous, Olivia remarked. She really is so well behaved, Michael remarked in awe. You're back. Bruno greeted Olivia and Michael. How's the weather outside? It's quite pleasant. Michael smiled. Usually preoccupied with work, he hadn't enjoyed such a leisurely walk in a while. You should take a walk later as well. You know what? I just might. Bruno smiled, looking down at Polly. A Siberian Husky, I presume. Looks like a purebred with its beautiful fur. Is that so? Olivia wasn't well versed in this topic. All she knew was that she loved Polly. Bruno nodded. Fun fact, underneath all that fur, Siberian Huskies are actually really muscular. They'd probably make a great lean cut of meat because of all the protein. I bet the best way to enjoy one is with a lot of garlic. Olivia's expression changed upon hearing Bruno's words. Subconsciously, she even cast a slightly hostile look at him. Hey, I was just kidding. Don't take it seriously. Bruno waved his hand, smiling. It's just a joke because I'm a chef. Uncle. Olivia stared at Bruno, asking, Do you also know how to cook human flesh? According to the books, human flesh is sour and not tasty. Bruno chuckled. Oh, come on, have a sense of humor. He added when he saw Olivia wasn't laughing. You vile, vile man, she thought, eyes narrowing. I'm going to chew you up and spit you out, and I'm going to bring you down with everyone else I hate. Bruno laughed heartily. Liv, I didn't realize you couldn't handle a joke. You're much more delicate and timid than I thought. Uncle Bruno, you've only been back a few days. How could you know me so well? Olivia paused for a moment and continued, Even if we've known each other for decades, we may not truly understand the people around us. Bruno chuckled. Liv, you have a great sense of humor. Olivia simply smiled, not saying anything further. At that very moment, Monica emerged from the kitchen, excitedly exclaiming, Uncle, I managed to measure the spices just like you asked for. Oh, then let me see. Bruno smiled and followed Monica to the kitchen. He gave one last glance at Olivia before winking and continuing on. Olivia watched Bruno's back, and Michael noticed her expression, but he didn't say anything. After all, it was Bruno who jokingly talked about eating Polly first. He could understand why Olivia was so taken aback by him. His younger brother was so provocative. Even at his age, he still enjoyed teasing and prodding the younger generation. Liv, take Polly upstairs first, and then come back down to have lunch, Michael said, checking the time. He wanted her to feel better. And don't listen to anything my brother says. He's an oddball. Olivia smiled, warmed by how much her father cared to make her feel welcome. Thank you, Dad. Olivia nodded, pulling Polly's leash. Come on, Polly. Woof! Polly barked, and the duo rushed up the stairs. Michael chuckled, watching Olivia's retreating figure. His older daughter was truly lively. He hadn't noticed that before. Sweetie, you seem to be in a good mood today, Rachel said upon entering. She had been watching Michael's interaction with Olivia and felt a pang of jealousy, but managed to put on a warm smile. "Yes, I took a walk," Michael nodded, stretching his shoulders. "The weather outside is quite pleasant. You should go for a walk this afternoon." "Let's go together when the time comes," Rachel suggested, taking Michael's arm. "We'll invite Monica and Edward too. We can all go together." "Edward wants to go with Bruno in the afternoon." Michael thought for a moment. "I also need to look at some work stuff to get a head start on it for next week. Why don't you go and just take Monica with you?" Rachel's expression froze momentarily before forcing a dry smile and nodding. "Yes. Okay, that sounds good." At that moment, the maid approached, inquiring if they were ready to eat. With Michael's permission, she went to prepare the meal. But throughout the meal, Rachel remained lost in thought, noticeably troubled and in a daze. "Are you feeling unwell?" Bruno was the first to notice something amiss with Rachel. "No," Rachel smiled and said, "I was just thinking about something, and I got a bit distracted." "Mommy, what were you thinking about?" Monica asked in high spirits as she ate her meal. Today her exam went well, and her uncle would probably gift her more things tomorrow. She had been measuring all day long, and it was so annoying. "I was thinking," Rachel contemplated for a moment, "I was thinking of where to take you for fun this afternoon." "Oh, yes, Mommy, I want to buy new clothes. I haven't bought any new clothes in weeks." Monica's eyes gleamed. She had felt envious when Olivia brought home luxury goods. Today, she wanted to buy new clothes from designer brands. "That's a good idea," Rachel nodded, realizing that she had neglected this matter due to recent troubles. "Edward, do you want to go this afternoon as well?" "No." Edward shook his head, holding his bowl. "I already bought all of his clothes in London," Bruno explained. "In the afternoon, I'll take Edward to visit some old friends of his and my mentors. It's a good opportunity for him to see more of the world and build connections." "Oh, then you have your hands full." Rachel smiled and nodded. "I've troubled you quite a bit during this time." "It's all right," Bruno replied. "It's my duty as an uncle." Watching the interaction between the two, Olivia's gaze shifted to Michael. "Since you're going to buy clothes, take Liv with you," Michael suggested, looking at Olivia. "She hasn't bought any new clothes in a while either." Monica's interest noticeably waned upon hearing Michael's words, and her mouth turned downward. "Oh, that's all right. I don't need to go," Olivia said after swallowing her salad. "I might not be able to afford the places Auntie Rachel and Monica go to. Besides, I don't really need new clothes. My mom bought me some already." "In that case, forget it." Monica seemed pleased. She didn't want Olivia to join them. "Liv, come along with us. I will take care of all the expenses," Rachel said with a fake smile, brewing a malicious scheme in her heart. "If you really want to go, I can give you some money." "No need. I really don't need any new clothes." Olivia placed her empty bowl on the table and supported her chin with both hands, tilting her head with a smile. "If you want, though, you can still give me the money you were going to use to buy my clothes." Rachel's smile froze on her face. Was Olivia actually asking for money? "Whoa, are you being serious right now?" Monica was upset. Olivia was so shameless. Even though Dad had already given her an allowance this month, how could she still ask for her mother's money? "Didn't Dad give you $5,000 already this month?" "Yes, but what does that have to do with this?" Olivia shrugged innocently. "Auntie Rachel said she wanted to pay for me like she was doing something nice. But if I don't want clothes, why not still give me the money so I can buy something I do need? Like books or school supplies or a laptop, right? Or was this just about going shopping?" "You're not making any sense." Monica was furious. Olivia had a way of twisting her words, making her seem alive even when she was dead. Her shameless remarks were enough to make anyone furious. "I think it makes perfect sense." Olivia looked at Rachel. "Auntie Rachel, what do you think?" Rachel glared at Olivia. "Liv," Bruno joined in. "I think your aunt wants to buy you clothes out of love." Olivia seemed to have a way of hitting the right nerve with both Rachel and Monica. Her words were skillfully aimed at their weaknesses, and she proved to be a formidable opponent. Uncle is right. Monica nodded vigorously, not wanting her mother to pay. Is that so? Olivia blinked innocently. Seeing Rachel and Monica's expression shift from anger to satisfaction, she timidly bit her lower lip and looked at Michael. Then, Father, just forget it. I don't want to buy new clothes. It's all right. It's all right. Michael observed Olivia's expression and thought for a while. It's the start of the year, so I'll give you an extra month's allowance. You should buy what you want. He had noticed how hardworking Olivia had been in her studies for the past 6 months, and she deserved some rewards. Rachel and Monica's proud expressions vanished entirely. Instead, a trace of gloominess flickered in both their eyes simultaneously. Michael, you can't be so biased. Bruno pretended to joke. If Liv gets an extra month's allowance, Monica should also get one. Yes, you're right. Michael nodded. Then Monica will get an extra month's allowance as well. Thank you, Dad. Monica forced a smile and poked at her rice with her spoon. Her monthly allowance was only $4,000 because she was younger, and even with an extra month, it was still not as much as Olivia's 5. She was so angry that her stomach hurt. Seeing Monica's lack of joy, Bruno looked at Rachel with puzzlement. Rachel gave him a look that said they would talk later. After dinner, Michael and Jack went to the study to discuss company matters and plans for the coming year. Olivia returned to her room to play with Polly, and Bruno had the opportunity to find out why Monica was unhappy. Olivia's monthly allowance is more than Monica's, Rachel explained. Monica sometimes has emotional outbursts, so we often have to take some of her allowance away as punishment. It seems to be the only thing that keeps her in line, but it's an issue. Bruno finally understood why Monica was upset. That was a significant difference in allowance between the two girls. Let's leave it at that for now. Rachel sighed again. This afternoon, I'll take her shopping and buy her some things she likes to cheer her up. All right, Bruno nodded. By the way, how are the arrangements for you-know-what? Rachel's expression turned serious. Shh. Bruno gestured to her to be quiet. It's not convenient to talk about it here. Come to my room tonight. Well, that's even less convenient. Rachel frowned, feeling disgusted, and took a step back. What's not convenient about it? Bruno furrowed his brows. He had been tormented by the pain in his heart ever since he noticed Rachel's concern for Michael. It felt just like 17 years ago. Every time he saw Rachel looking at Michael, it felt like a stab in his heart. Bruno. Rachel looked at Bruno and said, I am your sister-in-law. But don't forget, 17 years ago, you were my fiancé. Bruno couldn't control himself and glared at Rachel angrily. He had done so much for her. Wasn't that enough? Well, at least I am your sister-in-law now, Rachel replied. You said you wanted me to be happy. Did you forget? I didn't forget. Bruno closed his eyes in pain. He had done all this for her happiness. Practically everything he had done, so many countless things, was all for her. Then please help me. Rachel's eyes welled up with tears. Of course. Bruno took a deep breath. Meet me in my room tonight and we can talk in detail. Rachel's heart flickered for a moment, and then she bit her lower lip and nodded. Fine. I'll be waiting for you. Bruno's eyes seemed to regain some hope. Rachel felt uncomfortable under Bruno's gaze. I should take Monica to buy clothes now. With that, she quickly left Bruno, retreating away from him in haste. In her room, Olivia was busy feeding and playing with Polly while reading a novel. Her phone began vibrating, and she absent-mindedly picked it up. It was Wendy calling her. Hello? Wendy, what's up? Liv, my mom and your mom are going shopping later today. Why don't you come along? Wendy's voice sounded excited, but the background noise indicated they were on a bus. All right, Olivia smiled. Were you guys planning to buy clothes? The place we usually go to, Wendy replied. Hurry up and come. Olivia considered. Why not, she figured. Her dad had just given her double her allowance after all. She might as well spend some of it out with her mom and best friend. "Okay, I'll meet you at our usual spot. I'm on my way," Olivia replied, and ended the call. She grabbed her handbag, checked her wallet and phone, and called her driver, Morris Bratt, to pick her up. Then she headed out. Inside Nordstrom's on 5th Avenue, Olivia found Victoria and the others, but the place was crowded. "Sorry, I'm late," Olivia said as she approached her mom, Desiree, and Wendy. "No worries, we're just glad you were able to meet us," Victoria beamed. Together, the women browsed the many aisles of clothing and tried on various outfits. "Ooh, look, there's a sale," Desiree said. "I love sales." Wendy tried out a large green coat and turned around in front of a mirror. The coat looked really beautiful, and the fabric felt comfortable to the touch. "Oh, that's stunning on you. It'll keep you warm all winter and you can still wear it in the early spring. It's just right." Victoria nodded in satisfaction. "You must get this one." Wendy looked at the price tag. "Oh my God, it was $500? That's such an exorbitant price." Liv was taken aback. Her entire wardrobe wouldn't add up to even $500. "I'll pay with my credit card," Victoria said, taking out her card. "No, don't be so extravagant." Desiree quickly stopped her. "Vic, please don't go overboard." "You should stop interfering," Victoria retorted, giving Olivia a meaningful look. Olivia stepped forward to stop Desiree. "Desiree, do you like these earrings on me?" While Olivia was distracting Desiree, Victoria swiftly paid the bill. "There. Now let's go buy some shoe insoles and shoes." "What are you doing, Vic?" Desiree's expression soured. "Don't worry, it's not my money anyway, and I'll have to spend it sooner or later," Victoria said with a smile. Desiree and Wendy didn't quite understand. Had she come into more money? "Mom, did you spend the money my dad gave you?" Olivia quickly guessed. "Yes," Victoria confirmed, shaking the card in her hand. "It just so happens that this money is for the new year." She had received nearly $500,000 from Michael initially, but he had apparently deposited more money in her account as soon as January 1st rolled around. "Please let me help you. I feel strange receiving free money too, trust me. But allow me to spread it around with those I love." Desiree sighed and reluctantly accepted Victoria's generous gift. "Well, thank you for the coat for Wendy. I know she'll wear it and treat it well." "Yes, I will," Wendy agreed. "I know," Victoria smiled, "and she looks gorgeous in it." As they continued shopping, Victoria told the girls to try on whatever they wanted. The girls had a fun, impromptu fashion show. Olivia tried on a stunning silver sequin dress that shimmered under the store's lights, making her look like a dazzling star, ready for a glamorous evening event. Wendy chose a delicate pastel floral maxi dress with a flowing skirt that gave her an ethereal and dreamy appearance, as if she had stepped out of a fairy tale. Desiree then opted for a chic and tailored pantsuit in a bold red color, exuding confidence and sophistication, showcasing her empowered and fierce side. Afterward, Olivia tried on a vintage-inspired gown with intricate lace detailing and a mermaid silhouette, transporting her back to the timeless elegance of the golden era. Then Wendy picked a bohemian-style midi dress with intricate embroidery and playful tassels, embodying her free-spirited and artistic personality. As the girls paraded around the store, they laughed, complimented each other's choices, and struck playful poses, turning their impromptu fashion show into a delightful and unforgettable shopping experience. But what they didn't know was that every time Wendy or Olivia mentioned they liked a particular item or dress, Victoria quietly had the store clerk put each item aside into a separate pile, so that Victoria could purchase it all later and get everything for the girls as part of a belated holiday gift. And she cleverly ensured Desiree was always distracted when she paid. This way, Desiree couldn't stop her from spending on the girls. After they were done buying clothes for the teens, Victoria suggested shopping for adult clothes. She took a liking to a winter red dress, which cost a lot, but was still within an acceptable range for her. She decided to buy it and changed into it. Victoria looked at herself in the mirror and nodded in satisfaction, saying, "I'll take this one." Suddenly, a woman's voice behind her sounded disbelieving. "Victoria?" Victoria turned around and was equally surprised when she realized who it was. "Rachel." "Oh, Olivia. You're using the Johnson family's money to splurge on others, I see." Monica's voice sounded extra smug as she accused Olivia. Olivia felt disgusted by the accusation. "I can spend my father's money however I want, and so can my mother. What do you care?" Monica gritted her teeth. "You're shameless." "Don't act so self-righteous," Olivia retorted. "Monica?" Rachel signaled Monica to stop and looked at Victoria. "After so many years, you've changed so much, Victoria." "Everyone ages," Victoria replied calmly, studying Rachel. Despite the years, Victoria still had the charm of a mature woman, and her beauty was even more refined, unlike Rachel. "It's not just your appearance," Rachel said with a smile. "I was wondering why you were willing to send Liv back to us." "What do you mean?" Victoria was puzzled. "This is a great way for you to improve your life," Rachel said with a hint of disdain in her eyes. "You're using your daughter to get money, aren't you? Michael's basically paid you for her, hasn't he?" Victoria clenched her teeth. "That's not true." Sure, they had an arrangement, but it wasn't as transactional as Rachel was insinuating. Victoria let Olivia live with Michael because she wanted her daughter to know her father, so she wouldn't feel less than him. And she knew that living with Michael's connections would help Olivia for the rest of her life. She cared about Olivia's future. She would do this with or without any financial help. Olivia's heart broke as she read her mother's thoughts. "Mom." Olivia tugged at Victoria's arm, trying to comfort her. "It's okay." Victoria forced a smile. "Let's just continue shopping and ignore them." Olivia observed Wendy's embarrassed expression and comforted her. "Don't worry, Wendy, my stepsister is an idiot. And you shouldn't feel bad that we've spent money on getting you some clothes. That's literally what money is for." "We should be going," Rachel said with a smug smirk, as though she were satisfied that she had swooped in and ruffled someone's feathers. But Olivia could see that inside, Rachel was shaken by running into Victoria. "She's much prettier than I thought she'd be after all these years," Rachel thought, her heart full of envy. "Yeah, we should go too," Olivia said. "Oh, Rachel? Creme de la Rose. That's the right cream my mom uses, in case you wanted to try and look as youthful as her." Olivia winked and waved goodbye as Rachel's eyebrows shot up. She was so offended she wanted to curse at Olivia, but she refrained, not wanting to lose her composure in front of her old rival Victoria. She wouldn't give them the satisfaction. "I'll get you soon," she vowed, "you little bitch." As Olivia continued to walk away, Wendy hustled up next to her. "Liv, those two were your mom and half-sister, right?" Wendy pointed at Rachel and Monica's back and asked in surprise. "Yes." Olivia nodded her head. "Fun, aren't they?" "They seem awful. Will there be trouble when you go home tonight?" Desiree asked worriedly. No matter how she looked at the two of them, they did not look like kind people. "Trouble?" Olivia raised the corner of her mouth. "Not for me, no." Rachel and Monica's appearance had tampered with their mood a bit. After wandering around for a while, Victoria didn't feel like shopping with the same zest she had before seeing Rachel. So Wendy, Victoria, Olivia, and Desiree went to watch a movie and then had dinner instead. Afterward, Olivia had Morris Brad come to pick her up. The moment she entered the Johnson family mansion later that evening, Olivia felt a direct tension in the air. Jack sat like a king in the middle of the sofa, his gaze piercing and stern. Flanking him were Michael and Bruno, projecting an air of authority. On the left, Rachel occupied the single sofa, her expression filled with guilt. To the right, Monica and Edward sat together on a shorter sofa, their demeanor indicating that they were expecting someone to join their confrontation. Upon Olivia's return, Monica let out a disdainful snort and lifted her chin haughtily. "You have the audacity to show your face here?" Confused, Olivia glanced at her sister and inquired, "What do you mean?" "Liv, I apologize sincerely," Rachel interjected with a guilty tone, I initially promised to keep it a secret for you, but your sister revealed everything." "A secret? What secret?" Olivia asked, growing more puzzled by the moment. "Quit the act," Monica coldly retorted. "Dad, I personally witnessed Olivia and her mom scheming together today to squander our family's money and use it on outsiders, buying extravagant items and acting frivolously." "What?" Olivia grimaced. "What the heck? What are you talking about?" "That's absurd," she thought, turning from her half-sister to the rest of the family. She expected them to think the same, since everyone knew how overdramatic and prone to exaggeration and hysterics Monica was. But when she glanced at her father, Olivia was surprised to see Michael looking at her with a cold, stern gaze. "What is going on?" she asked nervously. "Monica, please stop speaking," Rachel said, shaking her head. "I believe Olivia did what she did out of concern for Victoria, who must be going through a difficult time alone. Is that correct, Liv?" "No," Olivia responded firmly, directing her gaze at Michael. "Father, the money you gave me, is it not mine to spend as I wish?" Michael nodded. He had not bought into the conspiracy theory presented by Rachel and Monica upon their return, that Olivia and Victoria were using him and squandering his money by milking him dry. He trusted that Victoria was not the type of person Rachel was suggesting. "In that case, why are we still here?" Olivia asked, holding her hands out. She understood Rachel's concerns, but she felt her freedom was being curtailed. "Liv, your stepmother just worries you might be deceived at such a young age by your friends or their parents, who may be using you for your money by telling you whatever stories it is that makes you pay for them," Bruno interjected. "While I also don't want to believe Victoria is involved, it's a possibility. We just don't want people to take advantage of you, now that you have money, our family's money." "You're worried about deception," Olivia chuckled. "If you refuse to believe me, why pretend otherwise? Liv, your father gave you money for daily expenses, learning necessities, and clothing," Rachel said, regret evident in her voice. "You've been purchasing luxury items, and while we've respected your freedom, this time it seems you may have gone too far. I know you're not a bad child. You might have been influenced to live beyond your means and take advantage of your father's kindness by taking more than you were allotted per month, and then giving that money away for others to practically steal from us." "Sorry, you think I was influenced?" Olivia burst out laughing. "Who do you think influenced me, Monica?" "Liv, there's no point hiding anymore. We all know," Monica said, direct and unyielding. "You should admit it to yourself." "Admit what? What is there to admit?" Olivia retorted. "Why don't you enlighten me on what I should admit, Monica?" "Why are you so stubborn?" Monica said. "It's clear your mother set this trap. She wanted you to come back and get money from our Johnson family to spend on her. She thinks she's owed that, and she's using you to get it." Olivia immediately saw red. Her blood boiled, and she had to do everything in her power not to let the tingling in her belly boil up into her fingertips and let loose her powers on everyone in this room except her father. She wouldn't be able to hide her powers if she did that. "You make it sound as though you witnessed me transferring money to my mother with your own eyes," Olivia sneered. "That's not what was happening at all, but I must applaud your silly little imagination." "Liv, I empathize with how you feel," Rachel said earnestly. "If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes today, I wouldn't believe it either." "What did you see with your own eyes?" Olivia challenged. "Did you see my mother trying on a new dress?" "You child," Rachel sighed with disappointment, shaking her head helplessly. "Dad," Olivia turned to Michael, wanting to know his thoughts. "What do you think? Do you believe them?" Michael shook his head without uttering a word. He refused to believe Victoria was involved in any wrongdoing. Seeing Michael's gesture and hearing his thoughts as she read his mind, Olivia smiled. She didn't care about the opinions of those present, as long as her father trusted her and her mother. That was enough. "Wait for me for 3 minutes," she commanded. With that, Olivia hurried upstairs. Witnessing her actions, Rachel and Monica exchanged glances, unsure of what to expect from her next. After a short while, Olivia returned, holding a stack of papers and a small book in her hands. "This is my bank card statement and receipts from every transaction I've made since getting my allowance. It also includes my daily expenses and accounts, all accounted for." Rachel frowned, and Monica quipped, "How do we know if those are genuine?" "There's no need to doubt or question me," Olivia said, opening the bills. "I'm not like you." The monthly expenses for the luxury items I purchased ranged from $2,000 to $4,000. I have all those expensive items in my room. You can verify it against the receipts. Moreover, Dad, you can call your secretary and have her request all my credit card records for verification. I spend only a few $1,000s per month. I can't create fake accounts on my own. I don't have that much free time to indulge in such schemes. Hearing Olivia's explanation, Rachel and Monica realized their plan had failed, and frustration grew within them. Rachel, however, decided to pursue another angle, saying, "Well, then I misunderstood you. Your sister and I were worried you might be deceived, but how about the money your father gave you today? The extra money that he gave on top of your allowance? Do you have any receipts for where that went?" Olivia burst into laughter. "I haven't spent a single cent today. How could there be a receipt for money I haven't gone through? You can see my account if you don't believe me." "It can't be," Monica protested, remembering clearly how she had seen Olivia's mom buying Olivia's friend a bunch of expensive clothing. "How did your mother get all that money she was spending?" Monica whined. "However it happened, it can't be legitimate." Olivia rolled her eyes in exasperation. "What my father gives my mother is none of your business." Upon Olivia's statement, Monica and Rachel froze. But they weren't the only ones taken aback. Even Bruno found himself stunned. "You're lying," Monica exclaimed in shock, turning to look at Michael. My father would never." She hesitated, unable to confidently finish the sentence. "Sweetie, is this true?" Rachel questioned in disbelief, her voice mechanical. "Big brother?" Bruno found it hard to believe as well. Michael gazed at Olivia, trying to figure out what to say. "Dad, don't you recall you gave Mom money?" Olivia reminded him. "Yes," Grandpa Jack said, stepping in. He was aware of the arrangement. He had suggested it. "Before we took Liv away from her mother, I assured Victoria she would receive annual support." "What?" Monica rolled her eyes. "Why would you give her any money at all? Did she even deserve such treatment?" "Ah, so it was just a misunderstanding, Rachel." Bruno smiled. "It wasn't Olivia who was siphoning off money from us and giving it to her friends and her mother. No, it seems Michael pays Victoria directly." He shot his brother a simmering gaze. "Yes." Rachel turned to Olivia, angrily, but feeling like perhaps this time she directed her anger at the wrong person. "Liv, I misunderstood you and Victoria." Monica apologized to your elder sister quickly. Though she had not found any leverage against Olivia this time, she knew she might find opportunities in the future. Right now, she was more upset at her husband. "Fine," Monica said unwillingly. "Liv, I'm sorry I misunderstood you." "Thank goodness it was just a misunderstanding," Bruno said. "Misunderstanding?" Olivia sneered. "Is that all there is to it?" Olivia's sneer sent shivers down everyone's spines. "Didn't I already apologize? What else do you want?" Monica felt resentful, thinking of how Victoria was getting money every year. She believed they were being taken advantage of. "If I pointed at you and called your mom filthy little users, accusing you and your mom of coming to the Johnson family to swindle money?" Olivia looked at Monica, her expression stern, and then later said it was all a misunderstanding and apologized. How would you feel? "What did you say?" Monica fumed, attempting to lunge forward but was held back by Edward. He frowned, annoyed that Monica couldn't see that Olivia was intentionally provoking her. "It's futile." Olivia smiled. "You'd also feel your dignity being trampled on, wouldn't you?" You'd feel like interlopers who were going to be thrown out like the trash you are." Rachel's expression soured after Olivia's insult. Though Olivia wasn't addressing her directly, it was a slap to her face. "Liv, you shouldn't speak that way." Michael felt that Olivia's words were too harsh. After all, Rachel was her stepmother, and Monica was her half-sister. "Why not?" Olivia looked at Michael. "I was merely translating the nonsense they just spewed and asking them how they'd feel if it was directed at them." Michael found himself speechless after hearing Olivia's words. It was indeed Rachel and her daughter who were at fault in the first place. "Liv, I'm saying I misunderstood." Rachel controlled her anger and tried to sound calm. "I was worried you might have been deceived by your mother, who had ulterior motives, and Monica was worried about her elder sister making a hasty decision, so her words were harsh. I truly apologize." "Harsh words?" Olivia repeated Rachel's words. "Are you sure it was only harsh words?" Rachel clenched her fists, unable to respond. Olivia was shamelessly twisting the situation, and she couldn't confront her right now. "Liv, let's not make it like this." Bruno attempted to mediate. "Your stepmother meant well, and you shouldn't take it so seriously." "It doesn't matter." Olivia smiled, shaking her head. Then she looked at Rachel, who still looked suspicious, and said, "Since you and Monica never truly believed in my mother and me, I'll leave today." Monica's eyes lit up at the prospect of Olivia leaving. "Leave?" Michael said. "Where will you go?" "I'm going back to my mother's place," Olivia said, her eyes turning slightly red. "Dad, I'll find a way to reimburse you for the money I've spent during this period and return the money you gave to my mother." "Liv, what are you talking about?" Michael frowned. Olivia remained silent, her brow slightly furrowed. Tears began to well in her eyes, but she refused to cry, displaying a determined front that tugged at everyone's heartstrings. There's no need for that," Bruno interjected, trying to ease the situation. "Your stepmom simply misunderstood. If you do this, she won't be able to handle it." "She won't be able to handle it?" Olivia turned to Bruno. "When she and Monica insulted me and my mother at the shopping mall in front of so many people today, weren't we expected to simply handle it? Should we all just call it a misunderstanding and apologize? I'm sorry, but that doesn't suffice." Bruno didn't know about that incident, and he hesitated, glancing at Rachel. He understood that given their personalities, Rachel might have done something like that. "We didn't do that," Monica dodged, her eyes betraying her guilt. She couldn't muster the confidence to refute Olivia's claims. "Liv, I never insulted you or Victoria," Rachel asserted firmly. "I don't know which words led to this misunderstanding." Michael, who had been watching Rachel doubtfully, breathed a sigh of relief at her response. He believed that it might indeed be a misunderstanding, as children of this age could be sensitive. "It doesn't matter." Olivia shook her head. "I'll go pack my things now. If you're worried I might steal something on my way out, you can send someone to monitor me. This way, you can be rest assured." She paused and mocked herself. "I don't want you to be concerned that I'll take anything from your precious Johnson family again." "Liv, what do you mean by Johnson family?" Michael objected. "This is your home." "It's not," Olivia denied, resolute in her response. "I don't have a home where I can't find trust. I'd rather return to my mother's side. Our family name is the Park family. This time when I go back, I might as well adopt my mom's surname officially." "Have you all finished arguing?" Grandpa Jack's calm and imposing voice suddenly interrupted.